It's Halloween time, and I keep saying I'm going to get to some Halloween games or Halloween type stuff, and of course, hasn't been happening too much here. Would like to get to at least one. We're a week out from Halloween as we speak, as we sit here. So, finally going to get around to it. I pull this one out every year for me and my son to try out. We never really get real far. Should really look it up and see what I need to do. But that is Midnight Mutants with Grandpa L. Lewis on the front there for your Atari 7800. And from what I've played and what I've seen, this is a more ambitious 7800 title. It's not your same rehash of the same arcade games. You know, that was popular for the 2600 and the video game systems at the time. Coleco based most of their stuff off of that, have the arcade at home type of deal. 5200 did the same thing. They were short-lived because of the North American game crash. 7800 comes around, and they did more of the same. It wasn't too often that you got an original game like this. And this would have been great, especially if there had been a password feature for longer games like that, like the NES had, or battery backup saves. So it's going to be one of those things where you're going to play it, and hopefully you make it to the end. I haven't made it very far at all, but then again, I don't have an instruction manual. I know the short story is you are a kid, your grandpa is grandpa, and he is turned into a pumpkin and trapped in a pumpkin by a guy that was a witch who their ancestor had burned at the stake in the 1700s. Now he's back to get his revenge, so you need to beat the guy whose name happens to be Dr. Evil, before there was a Dr. Evil, Mike Myers, Halloween. See how it all comes around? Anyway, we're going to give this a good try here. Whatever happens, happens. I'm going to suck at it, because I always do, but I always like to pop it in and play it for a little bit. And, so we'll do that. And another game that I like to play this time of year, and I've had this one since I was a kid, since it pretty much came out, is Fester's Quest. And a lot of people hate it. A lot of people hate it only because the difficulty is ramped up like a mother in this game. There's parts that really piss you off. Fester is slow as heck. Not going to play that in this video. One day, maybe we'll get to it. But that was something that was pretty neat about the 80s. The Addams Family and the Munsters came out in the 60s, and both of them only lasted 2 seasons on television, CBS and ABC, and but they seem like a lot longer if you think about it. You're like, they were such a huge thing, and yeah, there's been movies, Hollywood movies, television movies for each of them. There's a new Munsters coming out by Rob Zombie here eventually. They're working on it. I don't know if that's going to be in the same vein with Rob Zombie. It's probably going to be Herman's decapitating people, Grandpa's sucking blood. Who knows? I'll check it out eventually when it's, streaming somewhere. But in the 80s, you did have cable. We didn't have cable. It didn't come up our road for quite a while. We didn't live right in town, we lived up where the houses weren't that close together. We were surrounded by woods and a golf course and a junkyard and a park. So we eventually got cable. My parents finally, when it came up, they had waited a few years, and finally we got it when I was like a sophomore in high school. So didn't have that. We had your ABC, NBC, CBS, and PBS channel, and eventually we turned that knob to UHF. And in the Pittsburgh area, we got channel 22 and channel 53. And later on, channel 53 became the Fox station once Fox became a thing in the later 80s. But we had a lot of great new discoveries. Channel 53 would show suspense theater, all the old black and white cheesy scary movies, Green Slime and those kind of things. Frogs, we would watch those on Saturdays. Channel 22 started carrying WWF wrestling and some of the other ones with the Von Erichs and such. I'm not as well versed on, but we watched them. But that was right in the heyday, right as Hogan was taking over. So these channels to us were something else. And also, they played great cartoons during the week, the old Tom and Jerry's and stuff like that. But this was where a lot of times you would get the Munsters and the Addams Family on these UHF channels in the evenings. And we thought they were awesome. And that's why it didn't seem like there were only 2 seasons made of each, because, you know, they would have them on again and on, and you just watched them and you loved them. They thought they were hilarious. So, video games getting really big at the time obviously took advantage of that. It's something you don't really see now. What was popular, you know, then you had a lot of repeats on cable channels at the time. You didn't have a lot of original new shows like now. Everybody has an original show on cable. Now it's all these streaming services have original shows. You have billions of backlog to look at now, and you didn't have that back then. You had whatever was syndicated from the old days. You could sit and watch. You know, you had Addams Family. You had the Munsters. You had Gomer Pyle. You had Andy Griffith. You didn't get games on those ones. Hogan's Heroes were on in the evenings a lot of times. The Brady Bunch, the Partridge Family on in the mornings a lot of times. Wouldn't really make for great games, although nowadays they probably would make games out of those because they just reach for anything. First-person shooter Brady Bunch sounds pretty sweet to me. Peter's Had Enough. Mom's favorite vase, you know. But these things were popular again with kids of the 80s because that's what we had. It was in syndication. You know, Mr. Ed was on in the morning. Old cartoons, the Herculoids, Hercules, Popeye the Sailor Man. All the old stuff was cool then. Now it's like that stuff is out there to stream. It might be on a cable channel, but you know, sometimes you really got to look for it now. Back then, it's what they put in front of you. You had nothing else to do, or you weren't playing a video game. You turned on the TV and there was the Munsters and there was the Addams Family, and they were hysterical. So they made games out of that. They were popular with kids in the 80s as they were with kids in, what year was it, 64 that it came out or whatever. And something that was always on. So it's pretty neat, and it was a pretty unique time. You know, video games were bursting on the scene. Nintendo really kicked ass. Getting stuff out to us and just grabbed every license, these third-party companies, whatever they could grab. That's what they handed to you. So we're going to play Midnight Mutants. I went off on a whatever you want to call it there, back blast from the past, but I love doing that. Those were my times. And like I said, this was my Fester's Quest from back then. I hope to get to it eventually, and I'll really suck at it when I do play it. I got pretty good at it back then, but it's been years since I really gave this the old college try. But we're going to do Midnight Mutants for Halloween. Hopefully it's not the only real Halloween game we get to this year. Halloween themed, Grandpa L. Lewis. But it may be. Now we did do Pop's Ghostly for the Action Max, but whether that's a game or just a VHS cheesy tape movie that you're watching for a half an hour, you know, it's up to you what that is. To me, it's just a movie with no different outcome whether you pull the trigger on the gun or not. Okay, I've rambled on long enough. I think I covered all that I wanted to cover. So without further ado, Midnight Mutants, Atari 7800. 1990 copyright. I think the game's supposed to take place in 1992. My senior year. Well, I graduated June of 92, so if it takes place in that fall, it was my first year of working at a deli in a grocery store. Me and a bunch of old women who were mean and grumpy, and they hired me to unload the orders and clean the deli case, and in between wait on customers, and it sucked. But I was in a union, so, I mean, that was something for a young kid, huh? Anyway, here we go. Do-si-do. Get down. Midnight Mutants Boogie. Cadillac Blackjack. Come on, baby, let's go. Okay, so here we go. And yes, most definitely a terrible time of the day. I don't have anything to block out my block windows down here in my basement. I really meant to play this last night, at night, after I shot the introduction to this video, which was Sunday. But I really started to feel kind of ill from whatever this illness is that I have. I couldn't get around to the video. So I'm going to do it now while I'm feeling alright. So there'll be some reflection. But this is it, Midnight Mutants. Pardon the big reflection here. I got gotta find some kind of window covering. Maybe eventually a capture device, but let's just get into the game. And this isn't a walkthrough. I have played this game a few times before and got my ass handed to me. Turn that down a little bit. Royally. If you want to look for walkthroughs, I know the No Swear Gamer, well, just Google it. But No Swear Gamer has a good one. And really, the other times I played this, I had no idea where to go or what to do. I have a little bit more of an idea, but not all of it for sure. So this is just a sample. Oh. Come on. Get away from me. Get away from me. Yeah, boy. Get the knife, the dagger, the whatever. Still getting hit. Getting my arse kicked. Out of here. And this game looks great for a 7800 game. Like I said before, mostly they concentrated on arcade ports. That's what Atari did. You know, on the 2600, you know, Coleco did the same. We can do arcades better. And they did it with the 5200 as well, mostly arcade ports. And then 7800. So if they would have concentrated more on games like this instead of waiting until 1990, and if we would have had passwords and battery backups or battery backups, I think, you know, earlier on, it could have been, you know, they could have really maybe held their own against Nintendo, because Nintendo was doing all that, and that's just what made them great. I'm gonna get my ass kicked before I can even... There he is, Grandpa L. I really don't even remember where the heck I should be going after this. Should have paid attention to some of those other videos. But, you know, now the bats can't hurt me now that I got the crucifix. Try to remember where I need to go. You know, you didn't have any walkthroughs as far as I know back then on this. So talk about being cryptic. Where do I go? Now, I don't have the instruction manual for this, so I'm sure I could look it up. The instruction manual, but I'm sure I didn't give you too much on it. Where to go, what you should be doing. So, we just fly out the seat of our pants here like some kid that got this game without an instruction manual back in the day. Hopefully you figure it out, you know, and I am just not sure. I should probably switch back to my knife now that I got these giant spiders biting my dick the whole time. But I'm not going to play too long. That dog murdered me. He just told me what I needed to do, but... all the way up, he said. So, Grandpa, you're our Nintendo power of this, Grandpa L. But yeah, I think they could have done so much better if they had more games like this. Get all my health back at the well. Get away from me. I got the axe. Let's See if Grandpa has anything to say. Hiding in the barn. I don't even know. I don't know. We shall see. I don't know where the hell the barn is. Here's a hole. We always like a nice hole. Oh, a little bit to our health bar. A burst of power. I said I watched a few videos, but I can't. My memory's terrible. I'm not good, you know. I'm not gonna know exactly where to go for all this. No. All right. Definitely a strange game. He became a skeletal ram's head, stalking his prey inside a barn, I guess. As long as his prey comes to him, like a spider in the web, huh? You're right. Well, that was cheap, motherfudger. You know what? That was cheap as fudge. Shut up, Grandpa. And here we have the first boss. I mean, this is NES quality here. It would have been great if we got more of this out of the 7800. Little, you know, too little, too late. This is great. I mean, it looks better than a lot of NES games, actually. Do anything? Maybe I didn't take it. Okay. I think he's gonna kill me. But that's okay. I never even made it to him before, so he's one of 3 bosses from my understanding. And I'm not doing my best to dodge these, whatever these things are that's coming out of them either. I should try to concentrate more, but gonna be close, but I think he's gonna kick my lick. Nope, I kicked his lick. Kicked his arse. Kicked his lick is something we used to say when we were kids because we were stupid. I'll kick your lick. Alright, now I really have no idea what to do or where to go from here, but at least I killed the goat. Greatest of all time. Scratch one goat. Grandpa? Below the kitchen. I really don't know where I'm supposed to go from here. No idea. I'm gonna have to really sit down and watch somebody else play on the YouTubes and then maybe do a playthrough for myself. Kitchen, I'm assuming we're talking mansion. Maybe I'm supposed to be going someplace else. I don't know. But it is fun, especially if you have the time to sit and try to figure out what you need to do. I don't know where the damn kitchen is, or if I'm even supposed to be here. Ooh. Where am I? Ah! How many hits do these guys take? Are they invincible? I'm assuming this is the wrong area. These guys aren't dying at all. Alright. I'm out of here. Where do I go, guys? Some kind of library. Doesn't seem to be anything here. Alright, well, you know, I should have done a little more looking into this game before I did this. But like I said, it's not a how-to playthrough. It's just me messing around with a Halloween type spooky game. I was already here too, so I really don't know. What am I missing, guys? What am I missing? Is I not supposed to come here yet? It is fun. A bit frustrating, you know, you're walking into this not knowing. I mean, that first part I knew from watching others play, but yeah, I mean, going off of this by the seat of your pants like I did the other times that I played this game, it's just like, what the heck am I doing? Let's go up here. You're not helping me, Grandpa. Gosh, I have no idea where I'm supposed to be right now. I got these weird pumpkin head guys chasing me. I am totally lost. enter him. Mother fudge. Stupid friggin' dog. Now I will kill all of your kind. Those guys don't die easy. Where do I go, guys? Where do I go? Hey! It's all a big maze. Like I said, it looks really good. Definitely up there with NES games at the time. I got myself totally lost. What the hell? Oh, I can't kill that dude. Well, that's as far as I'm going to get. I know nothing, and I don't want this to go on for another 17 hours. So, I guess we'll just discuss. That's what is left. There you have it. There it was, that Midnight Mutants for the 7800. And that was a lot of fun. Like I said during the gameplay part, the beginning of this video was actually shot yesterday, and I intended to do the gameplay and of course this end segment here at the same time, but after I did the first part yesterday and got ready to do the gameplay, I wasn't feeling well. I had to sit it out and actually went to bed a little early. It would have been better if I could have, because then I could have shot that down in my game room in the pitch black at night. I said I don't have any good window covers for those block windows yet. I need something that I can, some rods or something, I got to put into the concrete just so I can hang something up during that. Or get a capture device, but really, my channel really isn't big enough yet to justify the cost of that. So, some daytime reflections in there or whatever, but it was a really fun game. I made it further than I ever have. Usually I would sit down with this for a few minutes here or there and die, not knowing where I was going. I guess that's what you could call Nintendo hard game. Really, the game itself isn't that hard, fighting a character. You do have guys there that I hadn't found the right weapon yet to be able to defeat. I shot them a million times, or threw the axe at them a million times, and nothing happened. But knowing where to go, that's the hard part here. And, you need something like a Nintendo Power walkthrough or strategy guide. But people didn't have that for this, as far as I know, unless Atari came out with something in 1990 for it to help you walk through that game. So you're just kind of running around. And that's what I did the first few times I ever played it. Like I said, I've had it for a few years. I don't know, 2, 3, 4 years now. And would just pop it in here and there and then get my butt kicked and quit. So I actually watched No Square Gamers walk through somebody else playing. Didn't watch them the whole way through, and I got a little further this time around. So the walkthroughs are out there if you want to watch. Pay attention to them if you want to beat it. But I made it to the first of the 3 bosses, the Ram's Head. And this is a fun game. If the 7800 would have had more games like this earlier on, I think it would have had more of a chance. I love the 7800 regardless, but yeah, they mostly stuck to the arcade hits, and several times over, for 3 systems in a row and countless how many computer games. And I don't know if there was anything like this. I'm sure there was a lot deeper things on the Atari computers at the time. But for the consoles and for the 7800, this is great. You know, you have Commando and stuff on there, which has a pokey chip, and that's a lot of fun too on the 7800. It's a pricier game as well, but a lot of fun. And this one here, it really is fun. And like I said before, I wish there was some kind of battery backup or password to it. But I figure, you know, once you know where to go in it, it's probably not going to take you long. Well, maybe a half hour, 45 minutes, hour tops to beat it, maybe. I don't know. We'll see if I can get that far one day. But Midnight Mutants on the 7800 is a good game. It's definitely worth your time. Maybe play it on an emulator that has save features. You could save it and look to see where the hell you're going on a walkthrough video as you go. Is that cheating? I don't know. That's how kids play a lot of games these days. But Midnight Mutants. Grandpa all those monsters. Awesome. One of these days I'll play this for the channel. Played it as a kid a lot. Fester's Quest. What was his name? Jackie Coogan. Uncle Fester. Funny how those characters were still popular from 1960s into the 1980s when the Nintendo and or NES and the 7800 were popular. But let me know what you think of the game in the comments down below, and thank you once again for joining me. Hopefully that's not the only Halloween video, but it might be. Happy Halloween 2021. Oh, Nacho. Come here, Nacho. No biting. No bite. Ooh, no biting. Oh, Nacho, stop.